I don't know if we ran out of time or we ran out of thoughts, but we ran out of something, right? Because we got this voice note sometime last week and we only got around to playing it right before we said goodbye on Friday. Then I still said, you know what? Let's treat this as homework. Weekend homework. Everybody go back to your little holes that you came out of. Okay, think about this and then we'll come back and we'll have it out in front of the entire city. Johannesburg, you are invited to this fight. You know how they say, you don't have to attend every fight you're invited to. This one I want you to attend. This one you absolutely have to RSVP with attending.
Hi, Anele and The Club. When my husband and I got married, we moved into his house, and I just feel as part of this union, I should be added to the title deed. I know we got married out of a community of property, but this is our family home, so I think we should both be on the title deed. He seems to differ, though.
Okay, so I'm going to say what I said last week, that this is something that she should have sorted out and ironed out before they got married. If we engage and we're like, oh, when we get married, we're going to move in together into my house. I think that's when you raise that, hey, buddy, I'm uncomfortable in living in a house that just belongs to you.
Well, I think just to her defense, her name is Natalie, by the way.
Hi, Natalie.
To her defense, when they got married, obviously it was new and they were moving in together. Maybe they've been living together for a while. She says family home, so maybe they've got kids now, right? So maybe now down the road, she's going, but hang on a second. I should also have some ownership in this house.
But now, Natalie, darling, baby girl, your head was too much in the engagement cloud. And then you forgot these are things that must be signed before. That husband is well within his right to say no.
Yeah, it is his right to say no.
It is his right to say no. And also, the women are going to kill me for this one. I don't think you deserve half the house.
Oh, no, absolutely. I disagree with you. I think that, I do
Off
think.
the bat, we get married, and just because you asked me to be your wife, I deserve half your house.
That you've worked for.
You've worked for it your entire life. You paid for it. Off the bat, just because I said, do.
Don't you guys say what's yours is mine? Shamina Shawena?
No, guys. Anele's right. Before you get married, nobody ever wants to think of like, what if we get divorced, right? So that's where the contract comes in. And whatever you take in going into your marriage should be yours. So then technically what we're saying is if anything goes wrong in the house, does he then repair it and she mustn't pay because he's basically a landlord and she's a tenant?
But that's not the way to run a relationship.
How do you run a relationship, Frankie?
I'm a tenant in this house.
Well, this is the legal term for her, but the other legal term is wife.
Yeah.
But you should have figured out what is yours as a wife before you became a wife. It's difficult to change it now.
So I believe people who are getting married, if you agree to live together longer term, you should buy a house together.
Also, you think they should sell
Start afresh.
He should sell this house?
Yes.
Or maybe even put it up
Even
for
if he
rent?
keeps it and has tenants,
Yeah.
but you need to buy your own house that symbolizes this fresh start and union.
And
Yes.
then she must pay for half of it.
The new one, yes.
Yes. Okay, then she's paying 50-50.
Yes, because then this is
Then
our
I
house.
agree, then she must take half of it.
I don't think she has to pay 50-50. I think that maybe she's a homemaker, right?
So she could cover other expenses as well.
You know what I'm saying? She's doing non...
Frankie, is this you trying to suck up to the women of Johannesburg after years of ripping them into pieces?
Excuse me, ma'am. I've never ripped a woman of Joburg.
Well, we should hope.
No, I'm just saying that, if she's a homemaker, then she doesn't make money, but she should still be entitled to half of the house.
Okay, so what if, right, Tembakile, she sells the house. They sell the house. And they find their dream home, but she can't afford all of it. Now, does he take the money from the house that he sold and put it into that?
Yes.
Yes.
How does it work?
Because Galoko, remember the whole point of a new house is you find it shouldn't be her dream home. It should be a house that you both like. So this is your marital home. So then you can agree on how you split things financially, because also couples don't necessarily always earn the same. You guys can figure out how to get around it financially. But I think it's less of a hassle than moving into someone's house, because that'll always be their
that
house.
person's house. Okay, 011-8838-947. What do you guys think Natalie should be doing? Send us a voice note, 084-0000-947. I mostly want to hear from people who've gone through this exact thing. When we got married and then run us through, how did you guys do it? And once again, is this a conversation that you guys were having way before you signed on the dotted line? Or mostly, did you find when you were inside the marriage that, hang on, we've got a bit of a imbalance here.
Exactly.
And we just need to balance the scales again so we can make sure that this marriage is successful. Let us know. What do you think?
Guys, this is a conversation that you should have had way before marriage. Me and my fiance are getting married in July, and this conversation's cropped up. We've discussed it. We know how we're going to manage that. The fact that you are now married, it's unfair of you to either change your mind or spring this on him.
Either they have to compromise, sell the house, and buy a new house together, or she has to help and make financial contributions to the house.
My concern is why bring up the conversation? The fact that she brings up the conversation would be my reason why I would not give half the house.
Yeah, you see, that's a tricky one.
Controlling much? I want you to unpack that whole bring up the conversation thing. Whoever sent that voice note, why are you upset that just bring up the conversation? You know what? Relationships actually do not fail because somebody did some weird extramural activities with another person. Most of the time, it is around finances. And keeping quiet around finances, trust me, it will lead to the demise. That's why I'm saying this is something that you should have discussed. Like, will you marry me? Will I get half the house? Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
And then he says no?
yeah. Then you imagine what difference is it then when he says no now? It's
Yeah.
no, it's no. Then you must make a decision, Natalie, as to how you proceed after being told that no, you can't have half the house you didn't pay for.
Can I just say that what I don't like about this story is that, like, let's step forward to divorce here, and they get divorced. Then Natalie has nothing tangible. And what I don't like is I know of a lot of guys who've done this. The assets are in their name, and when they get divorced, mom and kids are left almost destitute
with nothing.
Mom has to now find a job because he was the one who said, no, my babe, you
Don't
stay at
work,
home.
stay at home,
Don't
I'll
look
take
after
care of
the kids, I'll
everything."
take care of everything. But then if you get divorced, then
Don't the courts protect the woman in some ways around that?
they do.
No, yeah, yes and no, but a lot of men don't pay.
And the thing is, you wouldn't have to do anything with this asset if it's already going
If
into
it wasn't
the
black and
marriage.
white, you wouldn't have to fight.
Yeah, there's no point. You can't. This is mine.
Refuria, good morning. Talk to us. What's your take on this?
Good morning, guys. Natalie just realized she was scammed.
Yeah.
Because the fact that she agreed to get married out of community of property, now she wants to be part of the house. No, girl, you said you don't want anything from this man. You love him. Then stay with that. You chose. Because if she wanted to be part of his assets and all that, they were not going to get married out of community of property. She agreed to say, no, it's okay, my darling, I love you. Keep your things. We will be fine. We'll work this together. Now she's sitting and thinking, hey, if this man divorced me, I have nothing. Never.
And
So
you-
it's too late.
And you know what? It probably clicked to her when they were in a disagreement about something, and he said, "My house," and you're like, "Whoa!"
They need to do is just buy a house together and joint fund. Both of their names will be on the house. At least she knows she has something. But when it comes to his property, before they got married, she already agreed by marrying out of community of property that she doesn't want anything from him. So, Askis, too late. Yeah.
Thank you, Refuria. Thank you. Although Refuria is enjoying this debacle.
Yeah.
Well, no. Sorry, my dear, you got scammed. Vula, good morning. Vula. Is it Vula?
Hello.
Hi, am I saying your name correctly?
Yes.
Wonderful. Vula, talk to us. What must Natalie do? Or what should she have done?
Well, personally, she definitely, in my eyes, deserves a part of that house.
Okay.
Because, yes, certainly the best thing she did is get married out of community, hopefully with accrual.
Mm-hmm.
Over the years, I'm positive she will add value and add into that house, have children, probably end up giving up her career to look after the kids. I just think he should give her some of the house. Should they get divorced, she's still got grounds to stand on.
Vula, has this happened to you?
Yes. So
Okay.
mine is slightly different. I had a home which I sold, and I put all my money into the property with the promise that should I do that, the house I would be put on the title deed.
Yeah.
When it came to crunch time, the answer I received was, "Oh, it's too expensive."
For you to be put on the title deed, because you have to
yes.
you have to redo the transfer papers. Yes, that's about 300,000.
Well, not really. And I am an agent. I have a panel of attorneys that I deal with.
Okay.
They would probably have done it at a lesser rate or even for free. That's not the point. The point is that he said he would do it. And when I put all my money in, paid, bought, did, whatever, it never happened.
So where
I'm
you
in a
guys now?
So now we're in a process of a divorce.
Oh,
Not because of the house, obviously other things.
yeah.
But now it affects because the property, after so many years, 20 years of putting into that home, you walk away with nothing.
You're still not on the title deed.
No, I'm not.
Oh,
2
Vula.
children later. Yes.
Oh my, oh girl, you better start taking the sink, the bath. He must go to work or work. I'm telling you now, he must leave and you must come back, and that house must look like, nothing happened. You need to take out the plugs, the chandeliers, the taps, everything.
I won't even do that. I won't even bother with that. It's not, we're keeping it amicable, but the problem is, it's not ultimately at the end. I don't know if this lady has children. I have to. Who loses out? The woman always loses out. She will. What are the chances of a woman earning what a man earns? What are the chances of a man staying home and looking after children and raising them and driving up and down? The woman always gets the short end of the stick. I don't care what anybody says.
Obviously, Vula, you're speaking from a place of pain at the moment because there's a divorce going through. But I think that had you put your foot down and had your name on that title deed when you sold your property, you'd be singing a different tune now.
Certainly, but then, you know what? You also become, I'm the kind of person, I don't beg. I ask you once, I ask you twice, and that's it.
Oh, not when it comes to my money, honey.
I
You
like
can call me
Vula.
the legend of beggar Vance. I'm a beg every day for my money. No, honey. Listen, on the way, Marissa van der Mavra, the principal and broker owner of Lux Live Property Group, she's going to jump on board to let us know what Natalie's options are now. I mean, everyone, I'm pretty sure you're all saying, yeah, she should have discussed that, going into marriage. Granted, but that's done now.
Yeah, but let's say they discuss it and agree now.
Yeah.
How does it work?
What
do
are
you
her
do?
options
What can you do? Yeah.
now? If you're wondering what Natalie's issue is, have a listen to her voice note.
Hi, Anele and The Club. When my husband and I got married, we moved into his house, and I just feel as part of this union, I should be added to the title deed. I know we got married out of a community of property, but this is our family home, so I think we should both be on the title deed. He seems to differ, though.
Aibo, guys. Kandi, what does out of community of property mean? Aibo.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That house got nothing to do with Natalie.
Come on, guys. It's ours. It's ours. That house is ours.
Anele, I agree with you on everything. I feel this is a massive entitlement. I feel like at the end of the day, he's the one who bought the house. He's the one who provided the house.
This is my only question, is that, look, this all depends on the goodness of the heart of the husband, but we can't call him heartless if he says no to this suggestion.
No.
But I don't think I'm entitled to half of somebody's house that he'd been paying off his entire life before me just because I said I'm going to marry you.
Yeah.
I really don't think so. I do think whatever happens after that, then there's open for discussion, even if I'm not bringing the financial value of the 50%. I think then we can have the conversation. Before that, I'm just like, Natalie, girl.
Yeah, the problem is, so with Vula, who phoned us earlier, same story. it's when you're new in the relationship, makes sense. I can't say I'm entitled to half of the house. 20 years down the line,
however,
we're in the same house still. You get what I'm saying? Now the conversation is a little bit different because we never bought another place.
We still here. So
still
everyone
there.
coming through telling Natalie that, you know what, your best bet now is to sell his house or whatever, put it up for rent, go and buy a property, a new property that's your own, and then you can have the discussion of 50-50. Provided, I think the easiest way to get 50-50 of a property is to pay 50% of it.
Yeah, that is probably the easiest.
Arena, good morning.
Hi, Anele.
How are you, Arena?
I'm good, thanks, and you?
We're great. You say this is your spillion. This is your area of expertise.
Well, I'd hope so, yes. You know, everyone thinks they know everything until someone proves them wrong. So this is what I think I know as far as family law and mediation goes.
Okay.
And I think it's something that a lot of people aren't really aware of is Section 18 of the law, which states that there's parental rights and responsibilities. And it also points specifically to standard of living. So in her case, if he's the husband, he's got all of the money, he's a breadwinner, and at some point he expects her to stay home and look after the kids. 20 years along the line, well, not rather 20 years, but let's say they're still in school, they get divorced. She has no income. She doesn't have any job experience relevant. So what does she do? Well, he's still obligated to maintain her standard of living. If she was used to going to the salon once or twice a week, that can be negotiated. He can still be forced to pay that in terms of the court. If she has to drive the kids to ballet and cricket and wherever, she can actually charge AA rates per kilometer to take them to ballet and back. Electricity, the kids, there's 3 people living in the house. The kids are 2 of those 3 people, so the electrical bills will be divided, and he can pay towards that. So if the worry is she won't have anything when walking out, that's actually quite irrelevant.
Yeah, okay, so that's what I was saying is that I think if you are 20 years down the line in the same house with this person and your name is not on the title deed, I think the law can protect you from that. You just have to get yourself great lawyers. But at this moment now, they just got married. Natalie wants her name on the title deed. What are her options?
Her options right now, as most of the other listeners said, would have the only other options would be to sell the house and buy one that is together. But she also needs to take into consideration if she owns up to that now and she wants her name on the title deed, and it's, well, I'm not sure if it's with or without the accrual, but if it's with accrual, all debt in future will also be hers partly.
Oh, what?
So if they buy a new house,
yes,
great, your name's on the title deed, but you're also liable for all debt going forward.
Oh, all debt that comes from the house and via the house and through the house she's liable for 50% of it. So when you say debt, you mean like changing of geysers, electricity, water, all of that. She's liable for 50% of it. So she's gonna have to pay what it means to own 50% of that house.
Yes. So if it's without the accrual, then obviously everything that's on that person's name stays on that person's name, including all future debt, future and past debt. But if it's without with accrual, it means that what you came into the marriage with remains yours, but from here on, we split the debt as well. So if we buy cars, if we buy houses, if I rack up a massive credit card, all of that's still in both parties' name.
You see now, not all rosy on the other side where Natalie wants to go. Thank you, Arena. Like we said, on the way, we're teaming up. I think her name is Marissa van der Merwe. She's got also a little bit of academia behind this.
What is it going to cost?
Yeah, it's what we say and what we feel.
Yeah.
And then she's going to tell us what the law says. Hell, Natalie sent us a voice note. She just got married with her husband and they moved into the husband's house. This is now their marital home. And now she kind of feels that she should be on the title deed.
Yeah. She wants half.
She wants half of the house just for security for her because she just feels a little bit uneasy staying in his house. I'm just like, these are things you should have discussed before you said I do.
The easiest solution here really is just to sell this place and buy a place together. Or do something of that. Rent it out and buy a place together. Then it's yours, both of yours, you know?
If she's gonna stay with this guy for the rest of her life, then having half of the house shouldn't be a problem.
It's something you think about as a mom. You think, what happens if something happens to my husband? What happens if something happens to my partner? How am I going to look after my kids? This is something that's plaguing her.
The biggest failure of the marriage regime in this country, it starts with the counselors. People, when they are happy and happily engaged and they're about to get married, they go through counseling. So different regimes of marriage were supposed to be presented to them with facts. If you do not have any prenuptial contract prior, by default, you are married in community of property.
Marissa van der Merwe, the principal and broker owner of Lux Live Property Group. You've seen this happen plenty of times in your life before, right, Marissa?
I have, yes.
Wait, your name, is it Mauricia or Marissa?
Marusha, but it's okay. I've heard all sorts of iterations.
No. We'll stick to the one your mom gave you. Okay, Marusha, what are Natalie's options at this moment in time? Just got married, not on the title deed. Papers have been signed already. What's her best plan?
So look, a lot of the options that were raised are correct and it is possible, but I think it is very simple to just transfer half of the shares, so the spouses can have that discussion. They just need to understand that there is a bit of a cost involved.
How much of a cost?
So basically, think of it as if two friends are buying a property together. So the costs that each of them would separately have to carry. So the costs are calculated on the value of the property. With transfer duty and transfer costs in general, so there are tables that pulled out every year, and you look at what the cost is in accordance with the value of the property. So if we were to say on the 3 million, roughly 250,000, but I'm just using a very rough estimate.
Yeah, that's what I
said. However, she then is liable for half of that, right? Because we're looking at as if they're two friends that are not married. So the half of that would be, the 100 and something thousand. But the spouses can also decide to do a donation. So the spouse who owns the house can donate, but then there is a donation tax involved. But yes, it's on the one hand, it might be expensive. It sounds expensive, but the property might not be valued at that much. And they end up owning the property. If there is a bond on the property, though, that bond has to be cancelled and a new bond has to be reinstated with both spouses.
Which then
so
there's
there are
there's
some
a
considerations.
That's a bond. Then you have a bond registration fee attached as well. What is the threshold? So if it's under $1 million, hey, if your property is under $1 million,
they've just changed the threshold. Off the top of my head, it's now gone, I think, to $1,050,000. But yes, just about.
So the donation one. Let's say the husband says, "Okay, I'll donate to you." What is he donating? The transfer fees or half the property? Saying, "I am."
No, he's donating half the property.
I'm gifting her half of the property, but then there's there's a tax involved with that, but it's not as high as the transfer one.
It might be higher. I'm not sure. I don't want to speak on tax.
Yeah, tax is a different story. It depends.
So either way, there are fees here that are going to have to be paid. And once again, I think if Natalie wants half the house, then she must foot all of this donation fee, all of this tax and all of that. Because guys, once again, I do not think you are entitled to a house just because you married a man with a house.
That would make sense, though, if you said, let's go, but then you have to cover the transfer
costs. Let's go. It can definitely be yours, but all of the costs that are going to be involved for the entire admin process, I think Natalie must pay them.
Right.
Okay.
Anele and The Club on 947.